Okay, hello, this is Chad Ball, and I'd just like to first welcome you to this training course on how I create vector toons or vector cartoons. And I want to kind of go over first what vector art is, for those of you that don't know what that is. Basically, to keep it simple, is there's vector art and raster art. Raster art is, let's say, a photo. Let's say you took a picture with your camera, that would be considered raster art because it's using pixels to make up that picture. Now, vector art, on the other hand, that's using lines to make up the art. And with vector art, you can resize it any size you want, and you won't lose any quality. So what I've got here is a little illustration of a angry man here, and there's obviously two of them here, but one is vector and one is raster. Now, from just looking at it, you can't really tell from this zoomed out range. We're at 66% here, but now if I was to actually zoom in, you'll note there will be some difference. So let's just say I zoom in right in the middle here. Here we got some jaggedness going on over this one, so that means that one's the raster base. So if I just do a, first of all, let's zoom out again. Now if I go into wire mode, by hitting Command Y, you can see that this here is a box, and then we have line art over here. So here's our vector art, and here's our raster image right here. So basically, this image has already been flattened, rasterized down, and so if I was to zoom in, you can see all the little squares that make up this image. So all is good, except if you wanted to resize this image, let's say to go on, let's say you wanted to resize this to 22 inches by, let's say, 44 inches. Depending on your resolution, you're going to lose quality, or it's going to start looking pixelated when you resize it. Now this image, on the other hand, you can resize this any size that you want, and you're not going to lose any quality. So if I just zoom way in here on his eyes here, you can see the lines don't get jagged at all because it's using these lines to make up that image. So vector art's good for logos, and or an image that you want to resize and make it bigger. That's what vector art is mainly good for. So there's some limitations to vector art. You can't have a realistic photo with vector art, but you can make it look pretty decent as far as using gradients and stuff like that. But I'll go over that as far as shading, some of my characters here. But this is definitely a good way to create logos. Like I said, because then you could put this logo on a billboard or on the side of a truck or whatever, and you're not going to lose any quality. So that's just kind of what the differences are between the two as far as vector and raster based.